What's up, everybody, and welcome to the TNR Sports Show. The TNR Sports Show. There's Ryan. Ryan, say what's up.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, all right, good. Listen, we've got a fun, exciting podcast coming your way this week. We got a bunch of football to talk about. We're breaking down all the big games from this past weekend. But first of all, I want to say thank you for liking, subscribing, following, sharing with your friends, if any of you've done that. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep watching the videos. Keep doing everything that you're doing because I really appreciate it. Ryan really appreciates it. And then that's it. So there you go. How about that? All right. First, I decided to switch it up. Last week we did the top 25 last. I'm doing it first this week. Are you ready, Ryan?
Let's do it.
This top 25 will shake everybody's socks. Here we go. Alabama. Whoa! That's shocking. All right. Georgia, number 2. Number 3, Oregon. Number 4, Oklahoma. Number 5, Iowa. Number 6, Penn State. Number 7, Texas A&M. Number 8, Cincinnati. Number 9, Clemson. Number 10, Ohio State. Number 11, Florida didn't move after a loss. Number 12, Notre Dame. Number 13, Ole Miss. Number 14, Iowa State. Number 15, BYU. Ooh, they jumped over Arkansas. Ugh. Number 16, Arkansas. Number 17, Coastal Carolina, the second best team in South Carolina. I will be announcing who I think the best team in South Carolina is somewhere in this episode.
Mhm.
So stay tuned to that. 18, Wisconsin. 19, Michigan. 20, Michigan State. I don't know if we're talking about that game, but Michigan State blew the doors off of Miami. 21, North Carolina. Also, I don't know if we're talking about that game because that was exciting. If you like points, that Virginia versus North Carolina game, I think Virginia might be a legit. Their defense is a little stirring up, but their offense pretty solid. Fresno State, we will be talking about that game. Auburn is 23rd. 24th is UCLA, and 25 Kansas State. Ooh, Ryan. Uh-oh. Ryan is nervous about that Kansas State game. I tell you what.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. There you go. That's your top 25. Anything stick out to you in particular? Anything that's not going to spoil anything?
Man, obviously the big ones that will spoil something, but Ohio State and Clemson dropping. We'll get into that later, but I guess I do see why they dropped. So
Yeah.
there's a
So,
reason.
speaking of, let's start with the Oklahoma Sooners. I'll go first. They stink. No, I'm just kidding. Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, so it was a weird game. So they played Nebraska. Nebraska lost to Illinois, then they beat some FCS team. I don't remember who they are, and then they beat Buffalo. Um, Honestly, right before the game, I looked up Nebraska's last two games. Never really paid attention. I watched the Illinois game. It's like, oh, they suck. Whatever. It's going to be easy.
Yeah.
But the last two games before the Oklahoma game, they only gave up 10 points. So I was like, that's not great. But it was a really weird game. Nebraska's defense played really well. It looked like their scheme was really just to limit all the big plays, which I think really frustrated Spencer Rattler. And he didn't really try to force anything, but it really the offense was not where it. The Oklahoma defense played very well. The Oklahoma defense honestly won the game for us. They kept Nebraska down. They kept us, they did everything that was needed to win the game. If Oklahoma is going to be, a national championship contender, which they are supposed to be, then they need to get this offense figured out. Obviously, they're doing a little bit better than a Clemson, which we'll get into later as well. But Nebraska's scheme just worked. They tried to limit big, long throws from Rattler, which is what they wanted to do. So Oklahoma just really drove into the run game. They ran for 194 yards, which is really good. It's not bad by any means. Rattler threw 214 yards as well. So we had, 400 yards of offense. I don't think it's good enough. I think they should have done better. Hats off to Nebraska. They played a very, very good defensive game. But if Oklahoma is going to run the table, have any shot at a national championship, you guys get those points rolling again.
I told Ryan I was going to come and slaughter Oklahoma in this game, in this podcast. I will not. But I do think that they're not as good as we all thought they would be, which is strange I think Oklahoma and Clemson share some of the same problems. One of those problems being that this whole time, Oklahoma and Clemson share a common theme. They've had these quarterbacks that have been so good that they have spoiled the franchise. And, we have these expectations that Spencer Rattler and DJU are going to come in and be the next superhero. Well, you can't get a superhero every time. It's just not the way it works. Maybe Spencer Rattler isn't as good as we all thought he was going to be. I mean, at this point in the season, he seems to make some mistakes, but Nebraska's defense did play good. And it's hard to say, they did have a tough slate in week 0. That's brutal. To open up in conference play in week 0, I don't know who designed that. They hate both Nebraska and Illinois. I guess they don't hate Illinois. They did win the game, but they really do. It's just it's a tough go. And I think Nebraska's better than we thought they would be in this game, at least. Maybe they're hyped up or whatever. You can say whatever you want. But at the end of the day, Nebraska just played good defense and limited Oklahoma's offense, and it wasn't what we thought it was going to be. It was a lot. The over-under was 61.5.
Yeah. I do want to mention one thing, and this point last year for Oklahoma, they had to lead over 2 teams they should have beat, Iowa State and Kansas State, and they blew those leads, and they were 1-2 at one point in the season. Luckily, this season it's different in that the defense held. We had leads over, Nebraska and Tulane, and we held. We didn't lose those games. We didn't drop those games. So I think that is a plus over last season. It's an improvement on defense, not necessarily the offense. So again, just gotta get that offense rolling, and we'll see what happens.
I agree. We'll see what happens with Oklahoma. I don't know. I don't think their schedule is very difficult, but I think they should watch out for Kansas State.
Yeah, it's on the road too.
Iowa State, maybe. I don't know. Weird one. Texas absolutely abolished Rice yesterday. So that's college football. Arkansas struggles against Rice, blows out Texas, and then the next week Texas plays Rice to learn. Maybe you learn a little bit something about Arkansas, and then Texas blows out Rice. So hate to turn everything back to Arkansas, but Oklahoma should work too. There are teams in here that could be trap games. I would say Oklahoma. Kansas State, Texas, and Iowa State are probably your 3 you got to circle if you want to watch Oklahoma lose. I'm not saying they're going to lose, but
honestly, I'd say there's one more. I'd say Oklahoma State as well. It's just always that one game and Oklahoma State's decent this year. And it's always that one game. It's a rivalry game. You just never know what's going to happen.
You never know with Oklahoma. If they lose one game, I think it's. I don't think it's good. No, I don't think y'all showed out. And then that Ole Miss whooping up on Tulane yesterday was not good. Yeah. That is not what y'all needed.
I think they have a shot. There was one game because.
No, I don't think so. Especially if Clemson doesn't lose and then Ohio State doesn't lose. The discussion would be then, oh my gosh, who has the worst one loss and who worked harder in their games? I don't think Oklahoma would get the nod at that point.
I think
give it to Ohio State.
Oklahoma has a better shot getting in as a one loss than Clemson, I think, at this point.
I don't think so. Y'all have all looked bad. All 3 have looked awful. And if you disagree, you're wrong. They've all looked bad. Oklahoma should have waxed the Tulane. They should have waxed Nebraska. And they definitely waxed the Nome Name. So that doesn't matter. They should have waxed them. If they're supposed to be so good, and it's supposed to have all these running backs and all these wide receivers and the greatest quarterback of all time, you got to wax these teams, man. You can't be doing what you do. You got to wax Nebraska. You do. They're awful. But we'll see what happens. Yeah. I just don't disagree. I think they put Ohio State in before they put Oklahoma in.
You might be right there.
Yeah, you don't think they would?
I can see that.
They all played terrible. I mean, all 3 of you. All 3 of us, I guess. Ugh. Gross. All right, Cincinnati versus Indiana. What a game this was. I thought Indiana was going to win it for a long time, but Cincinnati ended up putting the hand on them.
Yeah, Indiana just had too many mistakes, too many turnovers. I mean, they were winning for a good part of the game, and it's dumb mistakes lost them the game. I'm not sure if Cincy's good enough. We'll see. I think they have to play. I think
Notre Dame. That's the one.
in 2 weeks. They have a bye week upcoming. So, we'll see how they play against Notre Dame. I think that's. I don't know if Notre Dame's good. We'll find out too. But I'm not feeling too confident on Cincy. But Indiana did have it in their grasp to win this game, but they blew it. We'll see if Cincy can hold it together against a team that doesn't make so many mistakes.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati. I don't know. I don't think they'll get into the playoff. I don't even think they're the best group of 5 team, to be honest with you.
I don't think so either.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
All right, Coastal Carolina versus Buffalo. What do you want to say about this?
Weird game. A lot closer than we all thought it was going to be. Coastal won at 28-25, which is odd. Buffalo was winning decent portion of the game as well. I think Coastal's offense is pretty good. I think Grayson McCall is a very good quarterback who has a future maybe in the NFL. Maybe it's a backup. Who knows? The defense. I think they're just a little undersized, and once they play better opponents, it'll start shining out a little bit more that they're undersized. I think their offensive line's undersized too, but we'll see what happens. I mean, Coastal's still running. I think they're a pretty good group of 5 team. I don't know if they're the best. I wouldn't say they're the best right now, but
they would not either.
So, good job.
Coastal Carolina, the second best team in South Carolina. I am making the announcement soon about who the best team in South Carolina is. It will shock many of you out there. But I do think Coastal Carolina is the second best team in South Carolina. I will keep updating these rankings as we go along. Next week, you'll get a new updated ranking. I assume Coastal will probably be still number 2. But as we stand right now, Coastal, number 2 team in South Carolina. All right, West Virginia versus Virginia Tech. What a game this was.
Yeah, huge win for West Virginia. West Virginia came out to a big lead.
Favored.
Yeah, they were favored. They came out to a big lead. Virginia Tech crawled back and got within 6. And even got an interception on West Virginia, on West Virginia's own 20. And then they drove to the West Virginia's 4, and they just couldn't punch it in. West Virginia held, goal line stand to win the game. So, West Virginia won 27-21. Big win for West Virginia, so props to them.
Yeah, shout out to West Virginia. Shout out to my guy, Garrett. He's happy. I'm sure West Virginia fans are happy. I thought it was over because they kind of blew them out to a big lead. I think it was like 24-7 at the end of the first half, if I'm not mistaken. And I didn't think, I was like, oh, this is not good for Virginia Tech. Not good for the ACC. And Virginia Tech still lost, but at least their loss looks more credible now.
Yeah.
So I would say, tough game for Virginia Tech, tough environment. Good job in responding to adversity. But overall, West Virginia, what are you going to do? I don't think they're going to be very good the rest of the way. I think that was just a pump-up game. We'll see what happens. All right.
Big test next week. So.
Florida versus Alabama. I'll start here. Florida. I have a lot of things to say about Florida. A lot of things. First of all, first thing, watching that SEC on CBS opening was very awesome. I'm trying to be clean here. It was very good. I was like, man, college football is really back when you hear and then I don't know, it was fantastic. You'll be hearing it next week when Arkansas plays Texas A&M. But second point, what are you doing on that 2-point conversion? First of all, for third point, you should make your field goals. Second point, what are you doing on your 2-point conversion, man? Emory Jones, be better. Dan Mullen had a real opportunity there. I get that guy was hurt or whatever. He should have thrown him in there at the end of that game on that 2-point conversion and get that big old body in there and slam him down Alabama's throat. They wouldn't have known what to do with it. But he didn't do it. So, I don't know. Dan Mullen can't win. They don't call him Big Game Dan for nothing. They don't call him that, but I give him that title because he can't win the big game. And he just can't. He just really can't. They didn't look. Florida is better than we thought they were. I've been down on Florida all year. I didn't think Florida was any good. A tough environment for Alabama, but they look like what we thought they were going to look like. go preseason. I don't think Alabama is. I'm gonna get to that in a little. I don't think Alabama is as good as we all thought they were. I mean, Miami looks terrible. Miami looks awful. I mean, they got destroyed by Alabama, and then they got almost lost to App State, and now they got like blasted by Michigan State. So I don't think Miami's as good as we thought. So I don't think Alabama's as good as we thought. Ryan, your thoughts?
Um, that Miami win obviously has taken a peg down from what we thought it was when it first happened. I mean, it's hard to say that Alabama's obviously Alabama. I think is right now the best team. Um, I mean, all they've done is win. I mean, I think Florida is a good team. I think they have a good. My question about Florida was always their offense. You lost so much on offense. You lost Kyle Pitts. You lost Trask. You lost a couple. I think you lost 3 receivers. I mean, how do you come back from that? You know, what's it going to look like? I wasn't like fully sold on Emory. I'm still not, to be honest.
I think he looked pretty good against a pretty stout Alabama defense yesterday. You didn't think he looked good?
I think he looked okay, but obviously it wasn't enough to win. And it was honestly his stupidity that didn't get the 2-point conversion. He should have just let the running back just try and pile it in. And, weird play. I think Alabama's the best team in the country. However, maybe there's some blood in the water, and maybe someone can knock them off, and it's not just Alabama forever. However, I was shocked by how they always have the trivia things at the bottom, Trennon, during the show.
Yeah, Affleck.
Well, do you know the last time Alabama lost to an SEC East opponent was?
I do. Stephen Garcia. I saw it.
Yep. Shout out to South Carolina, 2010. Last time Alabama lost to an SEC.
I mean, the SEC West tends to beat Alabama more regularly than I mean, LSU does it. Auburn has done it a couple times recently. Ole Miss did it for early middle to late 2010s. But other than that, I don't know. It's just hard to say with Alabama. I don't feel as confident. I don't know. It's hard to say with both teams. I think it's going to be interesting to see the Florida-Georgia matchup. But other than that, we'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. I'll have some thoughts here in a couple minutes. All right. Notre Dame versus Purdue.
Purdue. I actually picked Purdue to win this game.
I didn't watch this game. I didn't care about it.
Yeah.
I hate Notre Dame. What an overrated scumbag school.
They are overrated. I agree. Purdue kept it pretty close for most of the game. It was 13-20 toward the end of the game. Notre Dame got an interception and won the game 27-13. Tough game, physical game, kind of boring game, to be honest. And Purdue is just the middle of the pack. Notre Dame is not impressing me in any way, shape, or form. They're scraping out wins, but they're against garbage opponents. I mean, Toledo. I mean, Florida State is apparently just hot garbage right now. Purdue's a decent team. Like, don't get me wrong, Purdue is a decent team. Like I think Purdue probably could have won this game if they pushed a little harder and made a couple of fewer mistakes. But Notre Dame has to go on now to play Wisconsin, which I do think Wisconsin is a better team than Purdue. However, they are also prone to mistakes, but again, we'll get into that later. But we'll see if Notre Dame can keep this little.
Notre Dame sucks. They shouldn't even be in the national conversation. I hate that way we haven't talked about them. They're frauds, man. You saw what happened in Florida State. They wouldn't allow the big drum into the game. That's why Purdue lost, because of that big drum. Oh, it just bothers me. I hate Notre Dame. They're a bunch of scumbags, man. They're not any good this year. Ugh. Why is game day going there? They already went to one Wisconsin game. How much more do you want?
I don't know why. I think they should have gotten.
Game day loves the Big Ten. You would think ESPN, with how much it loves the SEC, that they would go to the SEC. But no, they refuse.
A higher ranked game.
Say what?
Like Texas A&M and Arkansas is a higher ranked game.
It's the highest ranked game, I think, of the weekend.
Yeah, like go.
Whatever. They would rather go Chicago, Illinois. I guess they think it's going to be a little cooler. Maybe they don't like going to the SEC when it's so hot. It is hot outside down here in the South Out there, it's a little cooler, I assume. Probably be about what, 70, 75, 60s. Here, it's going to be 100.
Yeah.
Humid, sweating in Dallas.
Well, the
Uh,
100 degrees yesterday being Saturday, in Indiana. So who knows? Maybe not.
yeah, so I hate Notre Dame. Clemson versus Georgia Tech. Here we go. Ryan, go ahead. We'll let you start and I'll finish.
Where to start, man? Ugly game. It's just ugly. Um, Hats off to the Clemson defense. I think they're the best in the country, honestly. And I think I might be a little bit biased, but they also haven't let anyone score a touchdown on them. It was all that Clemson defense that won this game. If it wasn't for that defense, Clemson loses this game. Um, Clemson won 14-8, and Clemson had a goal line stand for the ages. James Galsky, won the game. It was crazy. Like once they stopped Georgia Tech on fourth down, they weren't out celebrating, running up and down. They were just tired. They were just on the field collapsing. They were just exhausted. They literally gave everything. So Clemson defense, incredible. Maybe best in the country, if not best, top two. However, that offense, the first half, they had one good, drive. It was a short drive off a Georgia Tech fumble. Got the touchdown. Will Shipley, who, by the way, is probably our best offensive player. And after that, it was just silent. There was just nothing. They just couldn't get anything going. Clemson didn't have a lot of drives. They had 7 or 8 total drives in that entire game, which is very low. However, you expect them to knock a few of those in. There was a lot said over the entire course of the game, or after the game. Tony Elliott, the offensive coordinator, said that Georgia Tech came out with a different scheme than what they were expecting from Georgia Tech, one they hadn't seen, hadn't practiced for, and that really threw them off. I think that's something of an excuse, obviously, that does throw you for a loop when you get out to the field and what you're expecting isn't there. But at the same time, you're supposed to be one of the best offenses in the country. You should be able to figure around it.
They're not the best offense in the country. They're probably not even top 50.
No, I agree. But supposed to.
You're supposed to do. Go ahead, keep going.
The Georgia Tech D, it looked like they were also kind of doing similar to what Nebraska was doing, trying to take away big plays. Couldn't take shots down the field, so Clemson really ran the ball pretty hard. I don't have
for nothing.
It was over 200 yards rushing for Clemson, which is pretty good.
Only scored 14 points.
That was the problem. And then DJ, DJ started to look a little bit more confident in the second half, towards the end of the second half, to be honest. But, after the game, I started pulling up like old highlights of DJ, just trying to think, is this what DJ looked like in the past? It's Notre Dame, it's Boston College, and even in high school. And what I'm seeing right now from DJ is not what I'm seeing in those videos. In those videos, he looks confident in the pocket. His footwork is right. He's going through his progressions.
This propaganda is so dumb. They don't look good. They don't look good, man.
I know.
I told you that this morning. They don't look good. You got a lot. You look through a pair of rose-colored glasses. See a pair of rose-colored glasses. Ryan's a rose-colored glasses kind of guy.
Well,
they don't look good, man. They don't look good. They don't look good.
No, they don't. What I'm saying is,
it's kind of like what I just said about Oklahoma and Nebraska. Clemson should wipe the floor with freaking Georgia Tech, no matter what kind of defense they throw out there.
Yeah.
You got 5 stars. Wipe them. But they don't. Go finish.
That's gracious. It does look like, to me, it looks like DJ doesn't have any confidence right now. He's looking like he's building it a little bit toward the end of the game. Hopefully, he continues to build it against NC State, because if he doesn't, I think we lose it. Like Clemson loses to NC State. Doesn't have confidence and doesn't put a decent offensive performance. I think next week's the game. If the offense isn't there, that's when you start seeing losses.
Are you done?
Yeah.
All right. Clemson stinks. Their offense stinks. I don't like them. They annoy me. They don't get on my nerves. Not really, but it's if you look at it from a football point of view, I feel like Clemson should have the talent. Clemson lost more than people I think are willing to admit on the offensive side of the ball. I didn't, you don't realize how much Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence meant to that football team and the wide receivers. And they got a bunch of young guys in there, and DJ he's okay. He's not the best. And, it's just a whole bunch of things you got going on there. And I'm disappointed. I don't think the offensive line's good. It doesn't surprise me now. I think the play calling is bad. I mean, you look at what South Carolina was able to give. South Carolina had more rushing yards in the first two drives than Clemson had in the whole game versus Georgia. I think they had 3. So South Carolina probably had it on the first drive. You need to be able to try to run the ball. And I think that's a sign, Tony Elliott can say what he wants to say. And he's right. Georgia Tech did have a strange defense, and it limited it to him. But, there's a lot of factors there with that. I mean, Clemson's defense is good, very good, very, 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 very good. And, they can probably live and die with that for a while. But there's going to come a time when Clemson's defense is just going to mess up. It happens. Everybody every year. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. Somewhere down the line, someone's going to score more than 6 points or 8 points or whatever it was. And you got to be able to produce, more than what you're able to produce right now. So it's no surprise. I still think Georgia's defense is very good. But looking at what I've seen these past couple games, it's no surprise that we weren't able to do anything against Georgia. It's not that Georgia was good or Georgia was bad. It's just Clemson's offense is inept and not capable of doing anything. And, I hear what Ryan's saying, but, I don't know. You just got to be better, man.
I agree.
You got to be better. You just got to be better.
I agree. I honestly feel like
you got all those 5 stars on the field. I mean, Clemson gets whatever they want. I don't know. Georgia Tech probably gets 2 stars and 3 stars.
I feel
Come on, man. You got to be able to do something.
Clemson shouldn't have abandoned the run in that Georgia game.
But
I think they did. That's a problem.
And then they're not running the quarterback none. What is the play calling there? So strange. And then, I don't know. Is he not able to run? Is he just a pocket passer?
50 yards rushing this past game.
I mean, why do they pull that out? Why are they holding back?
They should have.
Are they scared of you? Scared of opening the playbook?
I mean, they're opening it now, so something's happening, but slowly.
Very slowly.
I do feel like he lost that confidence in the Georgia game, and hopefully he'll. Because we saw what he can do against Notre Dame. He threw for over 400 yards against them. They're a good team. They even held Bama down to like 30 points, which, Bama. But see what happens.
I'm not high on Clemson. Ryan's higher on Clemson. Like I said, he works through a pair of rose-colored glasses. I look through a pair of sad glasses. Like, I know what it's like to be bad. Ryan, like I said, Ryan doesn't know grief and pain like I know pain and grief. He doesn't know what suffering looks like. I know what suffering really looks like. So, when you're good, man, I just expect you to be good. That's just the way I think. Like what Georgia did to South Carolina last night is what I expect Clemson to do to teams. Now, this Georgia team is something special. I think it's the best team in the country. And I don't know if it's close right now, but I just think, if you're able and capable, you're growing pains. maybe we're putting a lot of expectations on him. And, going in, I think Georgia Tech is so bad that I expect more. But, it is what it is at this point. We'll see what happens next week at NC State. They better win. Ooh, I'm going to be mad next week. You thought I was mad this week. I'm going to be mad next week. All right, Arkansas versus Georgia Southern.
Go for it.
Arkansas, what did they do? They did some things. They ran the ball. They ran the ball a lot. They also passed the ball. A lot of passing. KJ Jefferson had 336 yards passing. I think 2 touchdowns, 2 bombs. So it was a good day passing. Defense looked solid. Triple option offense we had to stop. We stopped it. They only had 1 touchdown. That was off of kind of a busted play. We ran the middle linebacker down, busted in the A gap, and he chased the quarterback. And the quarterback, there was no QB protection there. So he missed the tackle, and the guy just so fast. He was just so fast. So that was their 1 touchdown. I think they got a field goal, 45-10. They did what they were supposed to do. Arkansas teams of old would have lost to Georgia Southern. Arkansas teams would have lost to Rice, and they would have definitely wouldn't beat Texas though. So it's hard to say right now. Big game coming up against Texas A&M, Jerry World. There you go. There's your Arkansas update. There's
Yeah.
not much to talk about.
I mean, they had a big win. I mean, honestly, it's a good tune-up for A&M.
Yeah. All right, Georgia versus South Carolina. I'll go first. I've been looking forward to this one. South Carolina is the best team in South Carolina. You heard it here first, folks. And I'm basing that off of two things. First of all, South Carolina had way more rushing yards than Clemson did versus Georgia. Point number one. Point number two, South Carolina actually scored a touchdown against Georgia. That was my second point. So to that end, we've only had now South Carolina's defense gave up a lot more points than Clemson's defense did. But in the same light, they're both 2-1. I told my buddy I would rank South Carolina number one in this week's podcast if they scored one touchdown, which they managed to do. So South Carolina gets the number one ranking in South Carolina. Boom. Clemson's number 3. Also, on a more serious note, Georgia, I think is the best team in the nation. I don't think it's close. They've looked dominant. They've stopped everybody they were supposed to stop. They've done the things they were supposed to do. Now, I get it. Last night, South Carolina, maybe not the greatest of all time, but still, I mean, they just look dominant. They look good other than that one drive where Kirby Smart decided to throw Stetson Bennett in there like an idiot. But whatever. We're going to ignore that because he's done. So shout out to Georgia. I think they're the best team in college football right now.
I think I could agree with that. I think they have, again, if not one of the best. I think the best defense is Clemson or Georgia right now. It's really hard to say which one's better because they're both just so dominant. But I think Georgia is one of the best teams in the country. I think once they get fully healthy, because they're not fully healthy right now, just another tough thing we're going to go through. They could really be rolling. USC, they come out, they played, obviously they got rolled, but they did score an offensive touchdown against them. They were able to get some yards in the running game, which is very good for them. And Luke Doty, he obviously doesn't look like Tom Brady out there or whatever, but he was making plays. He, got them down the field. We'll see. I think USC might have a little bit more than we gave them credit for.
I don't know about that, but they just weren't scared. Scared money don't make money. Don't ever forget that, Ryan. I'm not going to complain about Clemson. This isn't about them. Scared money don't make money. South Carolina ran the ball. It's crazy what happens when you do that. There you go. Georgia versus South Carolina. South Carolina, best team in South Carolina. Georgia, best team in the country. All right, Penn State, Auburn. What's that guy? The offensive coordinator of Auburn. Oh my God, I already forgot his name. What is it? Mike Bobo. He's awful. He was the offensive coordinator at South Carolina. So South Carolina guys, you know what I'm talking about. Mike Bobo was the worst. Who calls a fade in that situation? It's 4th and goal and you throw a fade. Who calls a fade like that? He's a big dummy. He's always been a big dummy. I hate Auburn though, so I'm not cheering for Auburn to win the game. I think Auburn's a scumbag school. I don't like them. I don't like anybody in the SEC West. I've decided that. Last night when I was aggressively pulling against all of them, I was happy when Mississippi State and Auburn lost. I found joy in that. I just don't like them, man. They're annoying. Their fan bases are annoying. Anyway, Penn State, good team. They are the challenger to Ohio State. Can they beat Ohio State? Maybe. Ohio State looks like trash. So with that being said, Penn State, maybe they're going to challenge for that throne. They got a good running game, pretty decent little wide receivers, and a good game managing quarterback. So you never know what might happen.
Yeah. I think Penn State, after seeing Ohio State this past week, and we'll get into that a little bit, I think Penn State could have a shot. I think also Iowa might have a shot, and maybe even the Michigan has a shot to beat and dethrone in Ohio State this year. So we'll see. Obviously, this is a big game for Penn State. It was a good win, 28-20. See what happens.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, we'll see what happens. I think, good old Penn State. We'll see. UNC Virginia, I didn't realize this was on here. We can just run through this real fast. UNC just blew out Virginia. It was an awesome game. 59-39. That's like a basketball score almost. This was a basketball game. Sam Howell looked great. I don't know about what Ryan has. A Heisman candidate. I think
he looked like one. I don't think he is one anymore, but he looked like one again.
Yeah, he's not one. I think Virginia's defense looked awful. They'll make DJ look like Trevor tomorrow if they play each other, but we'll see what happens. I think Virginia's a pretty good school. I think UNC is going to win that division, but Virginia's going to come in second. That's my prediction there. I think they're going to be better. I think they're better than Virginia Tech. I like Virginia. All right. Ryan doesn't have this in the notes, but I'm going to throw it in there in between UNC and Virginia. We have to talk about the Memphis versus Mississippi State game. I want to throw that in there. Memphis, that play, I can break it down for you because, as a football guy, I know football. So the game, here's the play. So Memphis, punted the ball to Mississippi State. Mississippi State got his knee on the ground and he's touching the ball. He doesn't pick it up, though. He just leaves it there. So the Memphis guy runs up, picks the ball up, and takes it all the way for a touchdown. And, Memphis ends up winning the game. There's a couple things here. First of all, if you look at it from a purely football standpoint, the guy was wrong. And they taught us, and I remember when we did punt team in football, they always taught us to pick the ball up and hand it to the ref. Because if you don't, something like that could happen. So technically, it was a legal play. Technically. What he did was legal. From a situational standpoint, the SEC probably just was an idiot. The SEC referees had an awful day on Saturday. I mean, it was one of the worst days I've ever seen out of the SEC. They were miserable. College referees in general are terrible. I was telling Ryan today, NFL referees, while not perfect, are much better. And, a lot of NFL refs, sometimes they could call stuff too much, call some less, I think at the end of the day, I think NFL refs are more, I feel as an NFL fan, you complain about the penalties more because they're against your team. And we don't complain about them when they're against their other. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it works with the NFL. The SEC and the college referees are just bad. They're not good referees. And it's not surprising when you have 32 teams, 16 games a week. I mean, that's 16 ref crews. You can manage to have better refs. When you have hundreds of games all over the country, it's going to not be as good. So it's not as surprising. But the SEC came out and said that their Memphis players had the same number, two players had the same jersey on, which should be a penalty. What they were both wearing 4. And then the second penalty was, the second thing was that the ref already threw a flag down for the ball to be down. They just didn't wave the play off. They didn't stop the clock yet. So the play shouldn't have counted. My thoughts to Mississippi State are, first time, Arkansas got screwed last year by SEC refs. We are 3-7, should have been 4-6. It is what it is. You got to suffer through. We had to deal with it. You'll have to deal with it now. It sucks. You weren't going to win the national championship in Mississippi State. You stink anyway. But it is what it is. Any thoughts about Mississippi State?
Crazy game. That's a crazy play. But yeah, the SEC refs stuck.
It is what it is at this point. You lose. Shouldn't have done it. At the end of the day, you do play a football game. One play doesn't define the football game. First of all, Mississippi State was still down 21-17 to Memphis at that time. You shouldn't be down 21-17 to Memphis. I get they're pretty good, but you should beat Memphis. And, at the end of the day, what are you going to do? You shouldn't be in that position anyway. Guys should have picked the ball up. If you don't want that to happen, you pick the ball up, you hand it to the ref. Because if you leave it to somebody else's decision, you take it out of your hands, that's when you lose. So, all right. Tulane versus Ole Miss. What a blowout. You want to hear what I'm going to say about Ole Miss? Tulane makes Oklahoma look bad because Ole Miss may be the best team in the SEC West, and they just spanked Tulane. That's what Oklahoma should have did to Tulane. That's what Clemson should do to Georgia Tech. They should spank them. They should whoop them. They should mollywop them. Do you agree?
I agree.
The fact that they're not bad. Now, Brett Corral, obviously better than Spencer Rattler and DJ. So, and Heisman candidate. So,
yeah.
Any thoughts about this? A lot of rain in this game.
Yeah, there was quite a rain delay, but Matt Corral, like what, 7 touchdowns?
Yeah,
total.
Good player. Yeah. Arkansas probably gonna lose to them. All right, Oklahoma versus Boise State.
Oklahoma State versus Boise State.
Oh yeah, Oklahoma State versus Boise State.
I put this one in there because I thought it was a crazy game and I thought it was worth talking about. It was in Boise, close game, crazy ending. At one point, Oklahoma State fumbled the ball. Boise State picked up the ball, ran the ball into the end zone. What refs are normally taught to do now is say, let it run out, see what happens. If they score a touchdown, they get a touchdown, so you can review it and whatever. The refs did not do it. They would have played dead. But Boise State did get the fumble turnover, so they did get the ball. However, they missed the field goal and went on to lose 21-20. That was a crazy game. So hats off to Oklahoma State, but the refs kind of killed Boise State there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Oklahoma State, they won the game, right? Oklahoma State did. It's all because of that mullet Mike Gundy has. Good for him. See, that's another thing about the refs just being bad. Refs in college football are just terrible. They're not good. They're just not good refs. They're not good. They're not good. All right, Arizona State, BYU. I fell asleep about the third quarter of this game, but shout out to BYU. The Pac-12 is collapsing. I mean, they're awful. That whole conference is just terrible. UCLA loses to Fresno our next game. Arizona and BYU. I think BYU and Fresno State are probably the 2 top tier group of 5 teams. I guess you could call BYU group of 5.
I mean, independent, but yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of in that. They won't rank them the same as Notre Dame. So Notre Dame, I would say, is probably with the top, and then BYU at the bottom. But I don't know. BYU looking solid.
It looks solid.
I'm disappointed in the Fighting Herm Edwards. I wish they would have been. I wish they would have won. I
wish they would have won too. Arizona State did get a little unlucky. At one point, they had an interception. The lineman was running down the field, and the BYU running back came behind them, punched the ball out, and then got the ball back. That
was crazy.
That could have won the game for you, but overall, BYU did look really good. It was a very competitive game, back and forth for the most part until the end, really. Props on BYU. We'll see if they go anywhere.
Oh, there you go. I don't think they'll probably just get to some random bowl. They'll lose to somebody. They always manage to lose some dumb game to some dumb team. All right. Speaking of the best group of 5 team, UCLA versus Fresno State. UCLA was undefeated, beat LSU, and they lost to Fresno State. Jake Haener, best quarterback in the he won't win the Heisman. He deserves the Heisman. He's the best quarterback in the college football, in my opinion. Him and Matt Corral battling it out. I really like Jake Haener. I think he's a good quarterback.
He's a good quarterback. I think he should be up there in the Heisman candidacy after when he's done. I think he has 1,400 yards already through 3 games, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's very good. You should, and it's against good opponents. I mean, you've played Oregon, you played UCLA. He won't be up there. I agree.
Yeah, he might get invited, but that'd be a better run of it.
Yeah, he's not going to win it. He probably will be a high draft pick if he keeps this up.
Yeah, he will. I do agree with that. I think he will be very high. I wish Pittsburgh could get him.
Yeah. Big upset for Fresno State, beat UCLA. Very back and forth game. Jake Haener threw a touchdown. I think it was a 15-yard touchdown with like 30 seconds to go to take the lead 40-37. And then there just really wasn't anything UCLA could do at that point to try and win the game. So props to Fresno State. I look forward to watching them some more.
Yeah, shout out to Fresno State. Too bad their games come on at like 11 o'clock. There was a game last night I couldn't do it. I tried. Oh, I was so tired. I want to stay up and watch these games, but they're so late. They're so incredibly late. It's crazy how late they are. They're late games. They really are. They're late games. I mean, Hawaii didn't come on at 12:30. Oh, I mean, I was half asleep, half awake at that point. All right. Other game of note. Texas A&M beat New Mexico 34-0.
Yeah, I mean, they had a good defensive performance. Not very convinced about Texas A&M's quarterback yet, but
we'll find out.
We got to play Arkansas next.
Woo pig. We haven't beat Texas A&M in years. Maybe this is the year. This is the year Arkansas beat Texas A&M. Maybe. We'll see what happens.
Southwest rivals.
Yeah, good old Jerry world. Iowa 30-7. Iowa's frauds. I'm calling it right now. They're going to get blown out by like Northwestern, who just lost to Duke. So there you go. That's my prediction on Iowa.
Yeah, they struggled against Kent State.
They're going to lose to Wisconsin.
So, yeah, I'm not.
All right, out on Iowa.
Yeah.
Ohio State.
They're struggling.
They have no motivation on that team. They just look unmotivated. They just look like they don't care. Like they're just like, whatever. We're Ohio State.
The only thing that really saved Ohio State was that running back, Henderson. He ran for like 277 yards. Great performance. Best player on the Ohio State team. But one for him, I think Tulsa might get a win here.
Tulsa stinks too. I mean, they lost to an FCS team. They're not good. I saw the most patient. I follow one Ohio State guy, but I keep up with Ohio State Twitter. You know, they've been calling for Quentin Ewers this whole time. He called for Quentin Ewers yesterday. He's been patient, told everybody to stuff it. That the guy in Ohio State, what's his name again?
CJ Stroud.
Yeah, CJ Stroud was the guy. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right. Michigan State beat Miami 38-7. Oh, God. Michigan State and Miami. Miami's bad. Florida State's bad. They're not on here either. They lost to Wake Forest. They're bad. The state of Florida, not good this week. UCF lost, Miami lost, Florida lost, and Florida State lost. Pretty sure South Florida lost. I don't actually know that for a fact, but they're bad. So
lost. They suck. Yeah, I mean, good win for Sparty. They're ranked now. But yeah, Miami falling off.
Yeah, Miami not good. Manny Diaz might be time for him to get out of there. I mean, you're supposed to be getting better at this point. You have Derek King. He has a cool name and everything. Is he even a good?
I think he's their best player, honestly.
But that doesn't mean he's good.
True.
Yeah, but I don't know. Weird. Just weird. All right. SMU beat Louisiana Tech. That was nuts. I see why you threw this one in. There was a Hail Mary to win the game. You got to love a good Hail Mary. I
love it. Big play. I mean, they were down against Louisiana Tech, SMU's quarterback, Mordecai. I love that name. Threw a 33-yard touchdown to win the game, and they look good. They got to play Cincy. SMU's got to play Cincy, so we'll see what happens there. Could be
SMU, the old Chad Morris. Stomping grounds. Yeah, that's why they're good.
Rebound just like Arkansas.
Yeah, that's why they're good, is because stupid SMU, because he left. That was a run. Michigan won yesterday, blew out Northern Illinois. Like it was a complete slaughter. I'm trying to think of other games to note. Was there anything we missed? Let me check ESPN before we log off. Let me see. Yeah. I'm sorry, everybody. I didn't pull this up prior. I should have pulled it up. That was my bad. It was my bad. Let me pull up the FBS. I'm going to pull up every FBS game and decide if there was anything else we should have talked about. UCF Louisville. What is there to talk about there? UCF, Gus Malzahn. What are you doing? Louisville won 42-35. Maryland 20-17 over Illinois. Poor Brett Bielema. All right. Keep rolling down the list here. If my computer doesn't glitch. I'm not seeing anything else. I think we covered most of the the bigger games. I'm trying to see. Give me 1 second. Missouri won 59-28. Oh, Kentucky? What were they doing against Chattanooga? 28-23. I think they were looking ahead to South Carolina. If I'm a betting person, and I'm not, but if I was, I would put everything I own on Kentucky at South Carolina this coming week, mainly because of the fact that Kentucky looks like they probably shouldn't beat South Carolina, and South Carolina looks like they're in for a major rebound. Boom, Kentucky. That's why Kentucky wins. Oh, Western Michigan beat Pitt. Oh my God, 44-41. That's terrible.
That's terrible.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Boston College beat. Oh my goodness. Temple. My stupid computer just glitched. Oh my God. I'm trying to do a podcast here, computer. Lord have mercy. Not a very organized podcast. Minnesota beat Colorado 30-0. Maybe the SEC is really bad and Ohio State's really good by beating Miss. Army beat UConn 52-21.
Or UConn. They should just quit.
Rutgers chopped that wood. Oh my goodness, lost it again. My stupid computer keeps glitching. 45-13 over Delaware. Chop that wood, Rutgers. Oh, this is sad. This makes me sad. Baylor beat Kansas 45-7. Baylor's 3-0. Oh my God. Baylor, best team in the Big 12. I mean, Big 10. Big 12. Even though they only have 8 teams, right? Or they have 10. They have 8, right?
They have
10. I love math. What else do we got going on here? App State beat Elon. Good. USC beat Washington State. They took out Keaton Slovis and put in some blonde-haired dude who had his mat. Did you see his paint? For the sound listeners, for the YouTube version of his left eye, he had a big black mark just going over his eye. So wild move by him. We mentioned Florida State losing to Wake Forest 35-14. You got to fire Mike Norvell and hire Deion Sanders at that point. Duke beat Northwestern 30-23. Hunter Johnson is just not good. I don't even know if he played yesterday, but he's just not good.
Yeah, if he did. He played for a little bit. Yeah, he either got pulled or got injured. I don't know.
Oh my God. Washington beat Arkansas State 52-3. They must have been upset. University of Texas San Antonio, full Arkansas coaching staff moves to 3-0 with wins over Middle Tennessee and Illinois. East Carolina beat Marshall for their first win. Liberty. Shout out to Abijah. 45-17. Good for you, man. Texas Tech. What are they? 3-0. Oh my gosh. Ryan, Oklahoma is in trouble. I'm saying it now. Oh my gosh, South Florida won. The best team in Florida is South Florida. 38-17 over Florida A&M. Wow. The Incarnate Word beat Texas State.
That's interesting.
Oh my God. San Diego State beat Utah 33-31. Jesus. Lord have mercy. Furman lost 7-45 to NC State. Sad. Air Force lost 49-45. Wow. That would have been a good game. Utah State versus Air Force. There's a lot of good football on. Stanford beat Vanderbilt 41-23. GXs beat Rice 58-zip. Good Lord. Oh, Jackson State lost yesterday.
Barely though.
Oh my gosh. That was against ULM, wasn't it?
Yeah. FBS opponent.
They couldn't get more than one touchdown. Come on, man. New Mexico State beat South Carolina. Ugh. Bad loss for the Bulldogs. That's not good. Almost done here. And the latest game, I wish it would tell me what time that game ended. 17-13, San Jose State beat Hawaii. That's your FBS college football rundown. I love it.
Little Nick Starkle throwing a pair of touchdowns.
Ugh. What a guy. All right. Is there anything else, Ryan?
Yeah, I think the parents covers it.
All right. If there's nothing else, I'm pretty much done. There's going to be a weird ending here. It's not going to be like normal. So, in the audio version, there's going to be an NFL recap. So, if you want to hear what I have to talk about the NFL, go to the Spotify podcast version. No video, but, for the YouTube version, this is it. Any last thoughts, Ryan? None?
No, I'm excited for next week, though. It's going to be a very quiet next week, potentially, hopefully.
I don't know. I think it's going to be explosive. You're going to have Arkansas versus Texas A&M, Clemson versus
NC State.
Yeah, NC State. I was trying to think. Who's South Carolina playing next week? Kentucky. That's a big game for for them guys. Those guys in Columbia. All right, there you go. That's it. Here's the NFL recap. If not, we'll talk with you later.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching the YouTube version of the TNR Sports Show. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tune in every Friday and Monday for a new episode of the TNR Sports Show. I really appreciate it. Make sure to check out our other videos from the preseason or anything of that nature. And make sure you just share with your friends. I would really appreciate that as well. But again, thank you for watching the TNR Sports Show, Monday or Friday edition.